What if I told you that the biggest, most important costs in your business are the ones you can't even see? Seriously, we're about to pull back the curtain on the hidden expenses that never ever show up on a spreadsheet but are absolutely crucial for making smarter, more profitable decisions. Let's dive in.
You know that profit number you see on your income statement? The one you feel pretty good about? Well, it might just be an illusion. There is a whole other world of costs that traditional accounting completely ignores. Today, we're going to fill in the rest of that picture.
So, to see this bigger picture, we need to get our heads around one single, powerful economic idea. And trust me, this is one of those concepts that, once you get it, will totally change how you look at every single business decision you make. It's called opportunity cost.
So what is it? Simply put, opportunity cost is the value of the road not taken. Every single time you choose to do one thing, you are, by definition, giving up the chance to do something else. The value of that next best alternative, that's your opportunity cost. It's like the ghost of the choice you didn't make, and it's always there.
Okay, let's make this real. Check out this story about a guy named Mr. Ram. He quits his job to start his own business. Now, he doesn't pay himself a salary, so his accountant looks at the books and says, "Hey, your labor cost is zero. Great." But an economist sees something totally different. By starting that business, Mr. Ram gave up a job that paid him 5 lakh rupees. That foregone income, that is a real, tangible cost to his new venture.
And this brings us right to the heart of the matter. It's this fundamental clash between two completely different ways of seeing profit, looking through the eyes of an accountant versus the eyes of an economist.
Here's the key difference, and it's a big one. Accountants, well, they're kind of like historians. They look backward, meticulously recording all the money that has already been spent. Those are called explicit costs. Super important for taxes and all that. But economists? They're more like fortune tellers. They look forward. They consider not just the money you actually spent, but also the money you could have earned somewhere else. Those invisible, implicit opportunity costs. That is how you figure out if a business is truly, genuinely profitable.
And bam, here is where the magic happens. Look at this. On the left, the accountant sees a pretty healthy profit of 1.5 lakhs for Mr. Ram's store. Not bad, right? But then, the economist comes in and adds 2 huge implicit costs. The salary Mr. Ram gave up and the interest his own money could have been earning in the bank. And just like that, poof, the true economic profit is slashed in half. This number, the one on the right, this is the number that tells you the real story and should be guiding your decisions.
All right, so now that we've got that foundational idea in our heads, let's start building out our manager's toolkit. Think of these next few ideas as the essential instruments you need to make sharp, smart, and informed decisions about your business.
First up in our toolkit, fixed costs. These are pretty straightforward. Think of them as your baseline expenses. No matter what, whether you produce one single item or 1,000 of them, your rent, your property taxes, those bills stay the same. They are totally independent of your output.
Now, on the flip side, you've got variable costs. These guys are directly tied to your production. The more you make, the more you spend on things like raw materials, parts, and maybe even hourly wages. These costs go up and down right alongside your level of output. Okay, this next one is a total game changer for making good decisions. Let's talk about sunk costs. This is money that is gone. It's been spent, you can't get it back, it's water under the bridge. That super specialized machine you bought last year that you don't use anymore, that's a sunk cost. And here's the crucial point. You have to learn to ignore them. You cannot let these past, unrecoverable expenses cloud your judgment about the future. You always have to be looking forward.
So, if we're supposed to ignore sunk costs, what should we be focusing on? That's where incremental costs come in. This is the total additional cost of making a new decision. What will it cost from this point forward to launch that new product line or to replace that old machine? This is the number that is actually relevant.
Okay, this is cool. Now we can start putting these tools together to solve one of the most fundamental problems in any business. How do we figure out the most efficient, most cost-effective level of production? Where's that perfect sweet spot?
So let's look at the big picture. This chart shows your total costs. See that flat line at the bottom? That's your total fixed cost, your base. Then you add your total variable cost, which, you can see, rises as you produce more. Put them together, and you get that top line, your total cost curve. It's simply the sum of everything you spend. Now, for what might be the single most important concept for your day-to-day decisions, marginal cost. All this means is, what's the extra cost of producing just one more widget, one more shirt, one more meal? The entire decision of whether to ramp up production or scale it back, it all comes down to understanding this one number.
And here is the big payoff. This graph is like your business's efficiency dashboard. That big, U-shaped curve, that's your average total cost. Basically, your cost per unit. And where is your sweet spot? Your most efficient point of production? It's right there, at the very bottom of that U, at the exact point where the marginal cost curve shoots through it. That's your peak efficiency. That's where you get the most bang for your buck.
So being efficient is great. We love efficiency. But there's an even more fundamental question that every single business, big or small, has to answer. At what point do we stop losing money and actually start making a profit? We're talking about the break-even point.
You can see it so clearly on a chart like this. You've got your total cost line sloping up and your total revenue line also sloping up. The exact spot where they cross, that is your break-even point. Every unit you sell to the left of that point, you're losing money. Every unit you sell to the right, you're in the profit zone.
And you don't even have to guess. There's a beautifully simple formula to calculate this exactly. To figure out how many units you need to sell to break even, you just take your total fixed costs and you divide them by what's called your contribution margin, which is just a fancy way of saying your price per unit minus your variable cost per unit. That's it. Let's use an example. Say your fixed costs are 500 rupees. You sell your product for 5 rupees, and it costs you 4 rupees in variable costs to make each one. Well, 5 minus 4 is 1. So you're making 1 rupee of contribution on each unit. You take your 500 in fixed costs, divide by 1, and you get 500 units. You need to sell exactly 500 units just to cover your costs.
Okay, let's bring it all home. What are the big things to remember? Number 1, true profit isn't just what's on the spreadsheet. It includes those invisible opportunity costs. 2, learn to think like an economist by always looking forward, not just back. 3, use those cost curves we talked about to find your most efficient level of output. And finally, every business owner must know their break-even point, inside and out.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you can see the costs that other people miss, now that you have this new perspective, what are you going to do with it? What decision will you make differently tomorrow? That right there is the real bottom line.